Hi, thanks for joining me on the Listen Up Girl podcast. I'm your host, Zach Randall Friedman. Today is Monday, May 18th, 2026, and I'm happy to bring you so much brand new news. This episode is news and politics edition, and I'm going to not sugarcoat it. There's a lot happening today, and it's not all good. There are some real wins, though, and there are some real threats, and there are things that should make you angry and things that should give you hope. So let's get into it. With King Charles promises trans-inclusive conversion therapy ban. We're opening in the UK because King Charles delivered his annual King speech on May 13th, and included it was a promise to introduce a draft bill banning conversion practices. Here's what matters. The ban will be trans-inclusive, and an addendum to the speech confirmed that it will cover both sexual orientation and gender identity, not just sexual orientation as earlier drafts had proposed. The government stated clearly that the conversion practices are abuse and that trans-inclusive ban is what's coming. Now, I want to be honest with you because this promise has been long and frustrating history. A conversion therapy ban was first promised in the UK back in 2018. It's been promised multiple times since. The human rights charity Stonewall called out the government in April for failing to meet even its own timeline to publish a draft bill. So cautiously, we're hopeful. Not naive, though. The bill, when it comes, will cover England and Wales only. Criminal law is devolved across Scotland and Northern Ireland. Progress overdue, complicated but real if it actually happens this time. Our next story is NYU Langone faces pressure over trans youth medical record subpoena. This one is urgent and is happening right now. This week, elected officials and LGBTQ plus organizers gathered near New York City Hall to urge NYU Langone Health to reject what advocates are describing as an illegal subpoena seeking medical records of transgender youth. NYU announced last week that it was among several hospitals nationwide ordered to release the medical records of young people who have received gender-affirming care, along with information about doctors who provided it. Activists are calling the subpoena illegal and pushing back hard. The pressure campaign is active, and the stakes are enormous, because this is not just about records, this is about exposing trans youth and their doctors to target harm. We'll watch this closely and bring you updates. They are given to us. Next, Texas forces $10 million settlement and Detransition Clinic on Children's Hospital. So staying on this thread because it gets worse, on Friday, Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton announced that the state has secured a $10 million settlement from Texas Children's Hospital. The settlement compels the creation of what it's being called the country's first ever detransition clinic and requires the firing of 5 doctors who provided gender-affirming care to young patients. So let me say that clearly. A state attorney general forced a children's hospital to fire doctors and open a clinic designed to reverse gender-affirming care, and is celebrating it as a victory. This attack on medical professionals, it's an attack on families, it's an attack on trans youth, and it's happening today. It's insane that we are letting this happen in a state, even though it's Texas, in the United States. Unbelievable. Next, Japan's Osaka High Court rules binary gender registration unconstitutional. Some significant movement out of Japan. The Osaka High Court ruled this week that Japan's family registration system, which only allows male and female as gender options, violates equality principle in the country's constitution. Attorney Shun Nakawa called it a huge step toward the legal recognition of non-binary gender in Japan. This is not yet law, but the court ruling said that it's meaningful precedent. In the non-binary community in Japan, this is the moment that matters. Now we go to Iran demands pride flags banned at the 2026 World Cup. So this one is complicated, infuriating, and unresolved. So let's walk through it carefully. Iran's Football Federation submitted a list of 10 demands to FIFA regarding the participation in the 2026 World Cup, hosted across the U.S., Canada, and Mexico. And one of those demands, a ban on LGBTQ plus pride flags during the match when Iran is playing, including flags carried by fans inside the stadium. The Federation stated it would compete without retreat from its beliefs and insisted host countries take this concern into account. Here is the problem. There are several. Iran is scheduled to play Egypt on June 26 in Seattle in a game that Seattle's organizing committee has designated the Pride Match. That destination was announced in December, and both countries objected in time. Iran's Federation president called it an irrational move that supports a certain group. And the stakes of that are not abstract. Homosexuality is punishable by death in Iran. And in Egypt, same-sex activity is criminalized under the morality law, with punishments including up to 17 years of hard labor. The other demands include guaranteed visas for team members who have served with Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, which is currently designated a terrorist organization in both Canada and the U.S. The Federation president says his own links to the IRGC are why he has denied entry to Canada in April. FIFA has not publicly responded, but we'll watch to see what happens. I mean, we're allowing Iran to come into our country to play football when we're at war with them, and they were in the Revolutionary Guard, some of them. That makes zero sense to me. Next, Poland registers its first same-sex marriage, now a genuine milestone. Poland registered its first same-sex marriage in Warsaw on May 14th. Equal marriage is not yet a law in Poland, but an EU ruling from November ordered the country to legally recognize same-sex marriages of Polish couples who wed in other EU countries. This registration is the direct result of that ruling. The Warsaw mayor went further, promising that Warsaw will proactively recognize similar marriages going forward without requiring couples to go to court each time. This follows Prime Minister Donald Tusk vowing on May 12th to prioritize the registration of same-sex marriages. Poland has a long road ahead, but today a same-sex couple is legally married in Warsaw. That is the fact, and that matters. Next, Oxford rowing bans trans women from women's boats. This one stings a bit. Oxford University's rowing body updated its rules of racing on April 26, barring transgender women from competing in women's boats. The change means only athletics assigned female at birth may now row in the women's boat. What makes this especially painful, the change was made with no prior contact with LGBTQ plus society, whose president said resolving this is their top priority. In a vote among members, 49 were against the change, 1 was in favor. Multiple college boat clubs have released formal statements opposing it. Wadham College Boat Club called the changes disproportionate, discriminatory, and impossible to enforce. Somerville College Boat Club said it is deeply saddened by a change that threatens its long-standing values of inclusivity and is reportedly encouraging all colleges to wear LGBTQ plus wristbands at this year's Summer's 8th Regatta in solidarity. Students have also raised serious privacy concerns, warning that the gender verification process required by the new law rules could effectively out trans athletes. The community has spoken. Oxford, you have to do better. And finally, Seattle LGBTQ Commission calls for civil state of emergency. So we are closing this out because it captures a moment we are in. In response to what organizers describe as a growing influx of LGBTQ people escaping hostile red states and seeking refuge in Seattle, the city's LGBTQ Commission is urging the mayor to declare a civil state of emergency. This is what it looks like when anti-LGBTQ policy in one part of the country becomes so dangerous that people are physically relocating to survive. Seattle is seeing it happen in real time, and the commission is asking the city to name it for what it is. We will keep following the story and bring you updates as they come available. So that's today's news. Thanks for listening to Listen Up Girl. Today, we had a lot of great news, and we had a lot of sad news. And we will be back tomorrow to show up with more news. We'll keep going. We'll keep celebrating the wins, and we will name the losses, and we don't look away. If this episode meant something to you, make sure you share it with somebody you know. Make sure you subscribe to the podcast if you haven't already, and please leave a review, because the more reviews you leave, the more people can hear this podcast. Thanks so much for listening.